Okay, so as we're just chugging along down these core nodes, a big one's going to be merge. So this is going to be big when you need to combine different data sets, or sometimes when I'm doing web scraping, I'm getting things back from different areas, and then we want to just push them all together. Or you're routing different ways to take different action, but then you want to combine them back at the end based on ID or something to push it in through an email or through a report, whatever it is. So two quick examples we're going to look at. In this first case, we've got a list of we've got user IDs, so that's part of the primary key here. User ID tagged to an address, and then we've got a database of names tagged to that same user ID. And so this is just, the idea is a simple join where we're joining on user ID so that we get the name and the address associated with this person. So from here, let's say we're adding a merge node, and then you've got different options. So you've got append and combine. So pretty much the two main ones that I use are append and combine. Append, as you can see, is output items of each input, one after the other. Or we can merge matching items together. So let's do combine, and we're going to be doing this on matching fields and fields to match. Obviously, we're going to be doing user ID. So we have that first one set up. We're going to drag into the second input. Oh, not input one. We want to drag the names into the input two. And so now we can see that we're going to be matching on user ID. We'll hit test step. What did we do wrong? Combine by matching fields, combine, keep matches, both inputs. Let's say if we were to append them, that's not going to work because it's basically going to stack both inputs on top of each other. As you can see, here was the information from address, and in the address set, it didn't have names. Right here, as you can see, it just has address, so it's going to leave the names undefined, and then it's just going to stack those next three coming in from input two, which was the name set field node, which has no address, and so that's why it's coming through 6 items. So what we're trying to do here is basically just push the 3 names up here and then get rid of these last 3 rows. So it's not going to be an append, but that's how an append works. It's going to be a combine. We want to combine by, okay, so there's a couple ways. You can combine by position, and in this case it would work because we have it stacked up 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But let's say that's not the case. You have different data sets. They're all in different orders. You just have a primary key. Then you want to match on that primary key. So if it's user ID, client ID, a lot of times it actually could be like an email address or a phone number. It could be a product ID. So we want to match by matching fields, not on combine ID. Let's just make sure that they are called the same thing. User underscore ID, user underscore ID. Okay. So that's why we want to match on user underscore ID. Output type, keep matches, keep everything. Enrich input 1, enrich input 2. So I'm not going to get into the complications of outer joins, inner joins, left and right joins, but typically there's different branches that can happen with joins. So if we're looking at everything from input 1 and input 2 that's going to match on user ID, there are going to be some that potentially don't match at all. There are going to be some that only are matching on out of all the input 1 data with data from input 2, and that's going to be a left join. And then opposite, it's going to be all of the input 2 data. If input 1 data is coming in, it's going to get added to the right. So this gets complicated when you really want to dive into like which type of join is best for my specific scenario. You want to avoid join explosions where you're creating extra rows, extra records, or join, what do they call them? The opposite of a join explosion is a join something that gets rid of information. So if we did keep non-matches, nothing's coming back because they all match. Keep matches. I don't see. There we go. Okay. I don't know what I did wrong the first time, but we're keeping the matches, as you can see, user ID, address, name. And if we were to look at like a left join, there's not going to be one in this case. There's not going to be any outstanders because they're all joining properly, as you can see. But if certain things didn't match up, that's where you could see the different outputs. And so from here, we're getting 3 items. But, if we were to do, let's see if, I'm not sure it has it in this one. Fuzzy compare, multiple matches. Okay. I started doing all this kind of stuff, workflow automation, with a tool called Alteryx, and their merge tool is called a join. And in the join tool, you have basically 3 outputs, which would be everything that joined and then everything that didn't join, left or right. So I was trying to see if they had that option, but that's essentially what it is. So there's that. And then I also wanted to show this example of another merge. where once again we can just append. So I'll show this. The difference between here we have names and then we have email addresses, but there's no unique identifier. But in this case, we know like it goes Alice, Bob, Charlie, and then in this order it goes Alice, Bob, Charlie. So we know we could just we could combine on them by position, which as you can see here, Alice, Bob, Charlie. I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. So I don't know why I was just bugging the first time I hit test, but Alice, Alice, Bob, Bob, Charlie, Charlie. If we were to append these, it's going to stack them and not actually match them. As you can see, it's going to do the undefined thing. So that's sort of the difference between appending rows below, just kind of stacking input 1, input 2. We're just going to stack them on top of each other to make more rows. But if we're going to combine, we're going to take them and basically match them up together. So keeping the same amount of input rows that are coming through. So yeah, I hope that one made sense. Hope I didn't ramble or overcomplicate things, but that's the merge node.